Hello Facebook, hello world, Dave Thompson here. Looking very wintry. It is so cold here at the moment in Queensland. I'm going to bring on our special guest today very shortly. Let me see if I can do it. I'm bringing on Sheehan. Here we go. Secret Weapon Sheehan. I've just invited Gene onto video. Really excited for this conversation. Gene is my secret weapon. Let's see if we can get her on the line, on the Facebook, on the line. What buttons do you have to press? I love that movie where they talk about getting on the line. Are you on the line? Let me see. Send invitation. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, it's Gene.
Hello,
Sheehan.
beautiful.
We
Can
did
you
it.
hear me?
The technology worked. I can
I
hear
can.
you
It was
loud and
just
clear.
dropping
Can
in
you
and
hear
out.
me?
And I thought, so I'm ready. What are we going to play at?
Fabulous, fabulous. Well, for everyone watching this live, I would love to introduce you formally right now to the lady that I call my secret weapon, Gene Sheehan. I have been following Gene's work ever since 2016, and quite honestly, she is a huge reason behind the success of my life and my business, and a big reason of that is the Millennium Calendar and the Millennium Grid, which are a couple of Gene's models. And Gene, I was hoping we could talk about those today and sort of why they're so valuable, what people can get out of them. And really, I'd also love your insight on how you've seen me
Yeah.
use the grid and use the calendar, because I would personally be curious about that. But I think those insights would bring a lot of value to people. So the calendar and the grid, let's start with the calendar. In your words,
Dun, dun,
how do
dun.
you describe? Well, there it is, right there. It's I would describe it as a code, as a sequence for how to manifest success
Yeah,
with
look, spot on.
ease. Is that how? Am I accurate there?
Yeah.
Yep, gotcha.
Totally. So we're going to go
Yep,
grounded
I can.
entrepreneurial business mind for a start. And business says push through, be masculine, go out and hunt it, go tear it down, do whatever you've got to do, Wall Street type thing. And yet there is a secret code. Is you don't have to do it. Let it come to you. Work in the feminine. Let it come to you. And so if you know every single season and what it does, and you watch nature and how nature does never, ever, ever go hunting. Now, I'm not talking about the lion that hunts to go and have something to eat. I'm talking about just that it comes to me. In business, this is about let it come to me. It always comes to me. It always works out. It's gentle. So if we're talking business, it's about ease and really big time ease. It's about it comes to you, which is not a concept in business. And we'll go on to you as an example, and I'll use me as an example of how did I, for those that don't know, I've written 7 books with Dave, about to write the 8th, and it's come with ease, because when he releases it, I go, oh, that's the time. Even the way Dave came into my life, it was right on time. It was just everything aligned. A Facebook message, I've got an event in 2 weeks, I'm coming. It comes to me. How did I get to be internationally recognized? How do I sell out an event in 24 hours? How do I manifest in 24 hours like $60,000, which a lot of people, you're not allowed to talk about the money and spiritual, but because it comes to me. And as for yourself, I've watched as you've picked it up every year and integrated your fisherman side of you and your Farmer Dave side of you and parenthood, and you've just tweaked it more and more, knowing have one product and how to actually service, and that's the key. Service people every single season and every single month, so it makes your life at ease. And the ease part is, one of my affirmations is, I have $10,000 days whilst I'm having time off. Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
That's coming up.
I'm going to use that. I like it. I always had, I love it. But I always used to say I make heaps of money when I'm away on holidays, but that was very general.
Darling, heaps of
but
money.
I love your one, $10,000 days.
20 senses. Yeah.
Totally. I will just say on what you shared there, Jean, that I can observe in myself. So the first time I did the calendar and the grid was 2016. Prior to that, I was definitely in that business mindset of just very masculine and grow, and thinking that I needed to grow like month on month, and I always needed to put in more effort. And that burnt me out. Like, that burnt me out so bad. And what I learned from the grid is that if you plant the seed at the right time and then just tend to that seed when required, you can actually harvest a bountiful whatever you're looking for, whether it's you're actually planting food, whether it's something in your business, whether it's something in your life, you can actually harvest in a really bountiful way by planting at the right time. And I didn't know anything about timing until I did the grid.
As you said, it's just, plant that little seed. And if the little seed, I'm going to use my medical intuitive cards. And so a seed was dropped to me by clients that, Jane, we've done your medical intuitive courses, we're a practitioner, but we want more. Or I want to have an oracle card. I wasn't into oracle cards. And so a seed was planted with me, but I still needed to plant it here of, when do I create it? When do I test and measure? When do I actually launch it? All of that without any effort. And so the right graphic designer came on, the right printer came on, the money came in. It is take a little seed. Now that seed, because this is actually on a woo-woo, this is actually a code. It's like a formula going, when you go to an Airbnb and it's like a keypad thing of 2578 to get in. That's what this is. And all you got to do, follow the keypad 2578 or whatever it is, and your door opens to this abundance and magnificence. If you're going to go masculine and go opposite, the winter, which is reflect and review and whatever, and you're going to push, it's going to bite you on the bum big time. So
And I think that's what happened to me, Jane. I don't know. Did you observe that in me? Like I was getting my winters wrong. Like education. Not wrong, but it wasn't optimal. It was suboptimal.
So this is education. You're in business, Dave. Push in winter. Push here. Push over there. Just push. When I'm going to take from the quantum a seed concept, and quantum means behavior. Take this seed from the quantum, the behavior. I'm going to put it over there, flick it into here. Where is it going to land, like on a spinning winning wheel? And it's like, oh yeah, January is the right spot, or September is the right spot. And where people get confused, we've got a Venus retrograde at the moment, And so people think, and it's goes till the 23rd of July till the 4th of September. It's about love and money. Don't invest. No. See, September in Southern Hemisphere is all about, well, that's the time to invest, read properties. The investment spring is go out and show the world, all of you. So if you've just bought something big now in July, no problems. Don't listen to the negative old paradigm of, oh, God, you didn't invest. Yeah, do it now because you're going to birth it and show it. So it's understanding one little seed, a ginseng pen, medical intuitive cards, whatever else I've got, plant the seed. And like a seed or a baby or a puppy, you're going to water it, you're going to love it, you're going to give it attention. And same with money. Whatever people want to grow it or manifest, what are you doing with it? Are you just like pushing it? And you wouldn't say it to like your beautiful boy, Kai. Come on, Kai, get in there. Grow up. What's your problem? Like, you're 2 years old. Why haven't you made $1 million? And so opposite of like, let it come to you. Let it come to you.
I love that one, Jean, the let it come to you. It's something that I see a lot of, especially business people, they don't get that. They think that they need to go out and hunt it. And I think a part of, like, to share with everyone watching how, like, we're coming up to our 10th year in Inspirational Book Writers, and the statistics on businesses that make it past 5 years, let alone 10 years, is like there's not many businesses that make it to 10 years. And so how have we been able to do that? Well, we've connected into the timing of the seasons, knowing when to plant seeds. And how did I understand that? Through the Millennium Calendar and the grid, which we might talk about in a moment, but particularly through the calendar. And what that has done for us is it's helped us to plan out our years so that we are supporting clients just when they need to be supported, and that there's the right season for different people. So as an example, like, this is practical application of what Jean teaches and what we use in our business. And I'm so excited, Jean. In this next year, Book Writers will be launching our book writing Beyond the Book Mastermind. And I'd love you to come and speak to our people, like do a full session about this, because this is so good. There is a sequence to how books roll out. So right now, I know for a fact it's July, it's winter, it's rest and reflect. It's people are going within, this is particularly Southern Hemisphere, and I know for a fact there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people out there thinking and feeling the book that they're about to plan. And so what happens next month in August, when August is about starting to lay out the plan of what's going to birth, we will be holding a planning workshop for those people who want to birth books. Yeah. It will start to birth in September, which is the theme of September is birth, your idea. October is practice. Perfect. So when is our next book writing intensive? It is in October. So seasonally, we are scheduling everything so it lines up to the natural energy that is already in existence. And that is one of the reasons why people can write a book in a week, because there is alignment with the divine. And it's part of the reason why people get to the end of the week and go, wow, I did a book, but wow, it was way easier than I thought it would be. It's because the natural energy is there to support it. And I think, Jean, that's what, in my view, the calendar is all about, is it tells you what to plant and when. It gives you incredible insight, ancient insight into modern day.
And on top of that, your product program is already efficient. It's already simple, sexy, and efficient. And so anyone that does it, it's like easy. And I'm the biggest advocate because I started with you in 2016, bang, book done, etc. It's that tweaking of it. And something that you mentioned, so you were talking about Southern Hemisphere of August, July, people are like, might write a book, August, start to plan it, September, they're ready to birth it, October, have your book intensive. That's not just Southern Hemisphere. So those in Northern Hemisphere, they're going to tap into that energy. And it's like when they come into your book retreat, or your intensive, they come into the energy to take on the quantum, even though they're in summer, which is like, get out there, harvest, market, whatever. They're coming into the energy of this, as well as your program. And that's why it always works out. So definitely. And just so that you know, Dave, like I'm booked to do Dave's intensive in June. Like I book things 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 20 years in advance, always get things. And I'm doing Dave's intensive in June again next year because of the type of book it is, which I did this year. I had to write it, now retreat, and then I'll finishing the editing and things. And for me, the book for next year is already percolating, already getting titles and what I need to write about. And I'm not writing it till next year, but I'm already sinking in to this energy. So when I go to June, to your intensive, it's like pop. And that's how I was able to write secret codes in 12 hours or secret codes to manifesting in 9 hours, because it popped. It just popped. Your system, this system, and go, it's June. It's cold. Write it. Pretend you're in a cave and just going, it's done. So, yeah, absolutely.
And even if so, whether people have like a 10-year or more business, or whether they're first year or just getting started, or whether they don't have a business and there's just life goals that they want to bring to life, now is a beautiful time to be reflecting on what those goals are and starting to plan them, because that spring energy is so just like, I think one of the things being, because this will be the eighth year I've used Millennium Calendar and Grid to plan my year. Seventh time I've attended. The only time I didn't attend was straight after Kai was born. And honestly, I regret not attending that one, because that I just didn't have the seeds in the ground the way I wanted them to be for that year. But to finish off that point, my message is that regardless of what your goals are, and I know people have been reflecting on them in July, because it's the nature of what this time of year calls us into. And so I really want to impress upon people that the actions that you take now to plan your goals and to birth them in September, they will determine what physically manifests for you in the next 12 months, especially, and even longer. There are some things, Jean, that I planned with you at the last workshop, Millennium Calendar and Grid workshop that you held last year, at the end of July, start of August. They only manifested in the last days of June. So it took 11 and a bit months for it to manifest, but it was easy. It was easy because the seed was in the ground. And every time I do the calendar and the grid, it helps me become a better farmer, like in the backyard as well. Because goals, whether it be life and business, it's a lot like growing your own food. There are different seasons for different foods. Some foods do really well in the summer, some do really well in the winter, some do really well in the shoulder seasons. Some you can grow radishes. Radishes take 4 weeks. You put them in the ground, 4 weeks later, you can eat them. Other things like potatoes, you put them in the ground, they take 6 months. So regardless of what your goal is, I think the key thing I want to impress upon people right now is getting the seed in the ground for your goal. And I think, Jean, even though the grid and the calendar, some people might think they're very spiritual and very woo-woo. I think the thing that you bring is an incredibly grounded and practical application of them.
Yes.
And I was saying to Davina this morning, actually, she was saying how she really wanted to come and do the grid and the calendar at some point. So we'll have to talk more about maybe getting her in as well. And I said to her, I've also been a student of the astrology, like what's in the sky, since 2017. And I said to Davina this morning, Davina, as much as I study the astrology, there's certain things that it won't give me that the Millennium Calendar and the grid do. And I think what I said to Davina is that it's the grounded, practical application that I get from the grid and calendar that I don't get so much from the astrology. So for anyone that's, maybe doesn't really care for the woo-woo, position this in your mind as like, this is a tool for success. It's like when you flick a switch on a light switch. I don't care how the wiring goes. I just care that you flick the switch and the light works. What I'm saying is that the grid and the calendar work for success. You go, you learn it, you do it, you win. Full stop. And that's why I keep coming back time and time and time again. And I will come back. I will just, I don't see an end to me coming back.
3 days out of a person's life, personally or professionally. And although we've talked business, I do say, do not plan your business first, plan the personal. And that's one of the keys to success. And that's why I say I have a $10,000 day whilst I'm at the beach, or whilst I'm abseiling, or whilst I'm, whatever I'm doing. I do the personal first. Because if you're in business and you goal set on business, you are likely to forget yourself personally, and the family and the whatever. Big no-no in the law of attraction. Big no-no in the law of manifesting. Big no-no. Your health will go crap. I'm not putting that out there, but it will. That's just how it is. Yeah.
That's what happened to me. And we said at the top of this live, I was going to ask for your reflections of how I've used the calendar. I'll just reflect here myself. Before I knew the calendar, I would only set business goals and not really personal, or it would be business first, then personal, because I thought, well, whatever you put the most energy behind. But honestly, one of the keys to this is put yourself first. Like you always say, Jean, your health is your wealth. I just literally before this call, I just signed up for some additional blood work and blood chemistry work and health coaching, so that my energy can go next level. I'm like, it's got to be for me. And I wouldn't have done that before I did I didn't even listen to the price.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, can you remind me what the price? I was just like, pay it, because I know that investing into myself, and I learned this from you, investing into myself is the key to this whole thing working. And the more you invest in yourself, the better it works. And investing in self means everything. Investing in courses and education and being in the right environment, like the Millennium Calendar and the Grid. It means health. It means holidays. It means adventures. Like I remember the number of times, Jean, that you've almost Greek mama whacked me about the face because I didn't book in my adventures.
Asked me, Jean, what have you noticed? Knowing outrageous Dave in 2016 when I met you, and watching you go masculine and push against the tide as such, and then just totally flake right away from connecting to you and what fills you up and everything personally. I just went, waiting. Dave will contact me. Jean, my health, wait. So then I Greek mama slap you and Dave, bloody wake up, okay? Bloody wake up. And this is a must. So it is very much, you must plan your goals. Like I say, people book one holiday a year. Why? When in our month, You've got 4 weekends, 1 weekend to yourself, 1 weekend study, 1 weekend with the kids, 1 weekend with family, or 1 weekend to yourself. You can have 12 mini holidays a month. Now, holiday can be, like I just went abseiling with clients. Was that work or was it a holiday? Did I have a bit of fun? Like, you know, you combine the both. And what happens is when you invest in you, like holidays first or time for you or health first, there's this amazing top up from a medical intuitive point of view, a top up of investments. And when I teach the money magnet module, I say, invest in you, money comes. Don't invest in you, watch the bank account go down the gurgler. So you must know the seasons of where are you at. So me, winter time, and Dave, I'm going to share it when we learn this weekend, that I purposely have thrown myself off this wheel of manifesting. So January, winter in Egypt,
interesting.
Winter in Australia, December, winter. Now, I'm not a winter person. I don't thrive. I don't do well in winter. So I'm doing it like I did with the Bite Me book. I'm sort of guinea pigging to then write about it, that I need the summer. So this July, normally I would have off. I've had to be summer energy to get the balance. So I've drawn in summer energy from Northern Hemisphere, and I'm keynote speaking and expos and stuff busy because I've had one winter at the beginning of the year already. So we need to know, okay, what's each season?
Amazing.
What am I doing? Winter for me is very retreat. I get seasonal affective disorder, which means that if I'm in dark, cold, wet places, I actually get quite low. Hence why I've got to wear bright colors, bright lipstick. And so when you know, this isn't about knowing yourself, it's shamanic. It's a quest, it's a journey. Because let's go to the woo part. It's actually, as I said, a code that when you understand, it's actually a portal vortex that says, got your concept, here it is. Now, when it comes to you, like you said, it took 11 and a half months for that protocol program. It's none of our business when it comes. It will come in that 12 months, but it might come bang tomorrow, or it might come bang in 3 months because of the energies. So why work? I know this is going to sound crazy. I am a high achiever. For those that don't know, on a grounded business level, I'm a high achiever. I do have huge expectations of myself. I like things pronto, fast, yesterday, as Dave knows. I like to manifest now. I love to be adventurous, but it's still done with grace and ease. Here it is. Here it is. And my passion is, I need people's health on a medical intuitive level. Stop making yourself sick and pushing. Come and do this. Or the numbers, for example, of which are both codes. Why do you learn the numbers? Because if you know the numbers for the prices you want, what's happening on that day, whatever's going, like all of those things, everything can only align with the numbers, the seasons. It's the universe going, and the universe always tells you, do it now. Do it now.
I love it, Jean. I love it. There's two things that I want to reflect back on what you just shared. One is about the grid, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But the first is about how you were talking about the different, how I think that's super cool, how you're moving yourself into different energies compared to what the season is. I think that's really cool because I've noticed myself that sometimes in December, January in the Southern Hemisphere, even though it's very hot, it's summertime in Australia, and according to the calendar, it's like go, 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 be out there, shine, be in the sun, get out there as much as possible. I've noticed that for me personally, a small amount of winter is very, very useful in December, January. So very often you'll see me in the mountains where it's cold, in Japan, in the onsens, under a meter of snow, because I know that I need that energy at that time. And so when you have that awareness of knowing what energy you need at what time, because you know the grid, you can place yourself in those positions and actually ask, like, sometimes I'll say to our team, I'll be like, guys, we need summer energy today. And so I know what summer energy is. It's I remember one of the first ones you were like, it's fast. It's bop, 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 bop. Like that's summer energy. So I think there's huge value in knowing the energy of the seasons to be able to call it in and activate it whenever you need, regardless of what actual month it is. And I think that's pretty super advanced. So I'm super excited to hear what comes from that.
Look,
from you, Jean.
It's to also prove, like I always like to challenge, as you know, like with the Bite Me book, it was, I just written Millennium Children books, the 2 books, and then I saw people feeding babies Coca-Cola and Mother and Bull, and I was just like, I'll prove a point. I'll go and eat crap food and I'll show you. And it's the same with this. It's just proving that if you're out of kilter, what happens? And I just cannot. You mentioned that you come every year. It's that top up that people have 3 days to set their goals. Oh, that's what I was going to say. People don't set goals. When people say to me, as you know, oh, the goals are in my head, I always say that's just bullshit, because you've got to write them down. You've got to know what you want and why, which is another tip. Personal goals first. Ask the why, not the how. The how is the masculine. Don't ask how. And then when you've got that, and third thing, like you said, you know who you are. I thrive in summer. You need the winter energy. It works more aligned. And in ancient mystery schools, this was all about empowering people. Now, when I went to Egypt recently, these were in the hieroglyphics. I just went to see, told you so, like hidden in. And the mystery schools were about empowering the person. So 3 days, come and set your goals, get a top up, be empowered so that you can have the best year, 2 years, 5 years, or whatever. And then holidays, like I take time away to just allow my creative brain, not the left brain, just the creative brain, go and imagine. Now I'm just going to flick the camera around for a moment. I've got my vision board over here, so people can see, and I've got 23 calendar and 24 calendar.
Amazing.
That here, over here, August last year, I put a photo of Egypt. I put and over here, Greece. They all came true. That was made in August. I went to Vanuatu in November. Egypt, and that picture, when I went into that temple, I went, oh my gosh, there it is, not knowing what that picture was. So it's like, as soon as you know what your goals are and why, and that's why I say 3 days out of your life just to go, and with supported people, connections, coaching, realignment, tweaking, or even little words like, I have a $10,000 a day doing what I want. Like,
and it's those little snippets, Jean. That's why I'll keep coming back, because one idea can be worth 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, $500,000, $1 million. It can be the thing that changes everything. It can be the thing that gets you on the right track. And I wonder if we could just talk about the grid for a second, about how I've applied that in some really interesting ways. So I'm going to go to business again to start with, but there's also some personal examples. So when we've got our sales calendar lined out, I look at the grid, and so I can tell you which days people are going to buy. And I can tell you what objections they will have on what days. For example, if it's the 10th, mental mind, there'll be too much overthinking. It's not going to happen unless they can get to the other side of the grid, which is number 4, which is heart space. So just even simple little things like that, or like if it's the 13th, that's the genius.
Yeah, me too.
I really like the 13th for selling because people are empowered. They're in that genius zone.
Yeah.
People buy when they are in their genius. The theme of the 13th is the genius. So even little things like this can make a huge difference so that you are using your energy effectively. Before I knew any of this, I was just like, well, I'm going to need to keep my calendar open basically 24/7 because I don't know when it's going to work. And I need to keep this business going. So my energy is getting sprayed into all these different directions. But now I know, okay, that day, that time, that day, that time, and I'm present for it because I know it's going to land. And then boom, sales, boom, people just go, and it's so easy. And there's no objections.
Totally.
So
totally.
Do you find that as well?
I've
like
never
knowing
shared
the
that
numbers
on the course. So we might bring that up this weekend. But everything I do is numbers. So how much I sell for, besides profit and all those sort of things, how much I sell, when I'm going to go on holidays, it's the both. It's absolutely the both. Right down to like the next Egypt trip is 22 days. 22 is a number 9 because those that are coming to this Egypt trip, because each Egypt trip will be different, they must end pains where they couldn't be seen, couldn't shine their brilliance, all the rest of it. That's why it's 22 days, for example. So everything is always aligned that way. When I'm using numbers, whether it be, and numbers can be used for anything. Sometimes in numerology, I've heard people use numbers not in a positive. New paradigm is there's never a negative. So 13's always been seen as devil and bad and whatever. Or I went to a client's special ceremony recently, and on the number plate in front of me, because I'm always watching numbers everywhere, was 666. Now I've got 666 in my numerology. Like I so am the devil. 666 is full expression of yourself. It's the alchemy sign, the triangle of everything works out. You must express yourself. So 13 is not devil. 13, that genius zone is being able to look at the bigger consciousness of everything. So this work is consciousness. It's retrogrades. It's moon cycles. It's seasons. It seems like it's just learn the numbers or learn the seasons, but it's the ancient wisdom, today's terminology. So I've tweaked it to today's terminology. So it's like, well, when am I going to do it? Why am I going to do it? And 5 is freedom. So that's when we're going to go, or that's how it's going to be, or whatever. And that's where, whatever it is, personal and professional, always work. I'm just putting the phone on charge. It always works out, all the time.
Totally. And I have to say, Jean, the people that have been through the calendar and the grid, and then they come and do a book with us, which has been quite a few now that have come through your community and into ours. It's such a delight to work with them because everything manifests with their book with such ease, and being part of your community in the calendar and the grid. I've seen extraordinary things happen, like people who have been trying to sell their property for a long time and they haven't been able to do it. And then boom, it's like 14 days later, it's sold. Manifestation of money, like you were saying that, I was speaking to someone this morning who's like, I'm about to have a 5K day. And I'm like, well, what's the next thing? Oh, it's a 10K day or a 20K day. Like it's all just numbers. It's all just numbers. And what the grid and the calendar give you is the insight into the energy behind
And as
numbers.
I said, it's not numerology.
It's not. Let's make that clear. It is not. What's interesting, Jean? I've never been like, I've done a lot in the spiritual realms. I've never been drawn to numerology. Not even in nothing more than a passing glance. I've been like, oh, there's numerology, and I'm not saying I'm not saying it's bad. I just personally have felt way more drawn to systems, to codes like the calendar and the grid. To me, they feel more true, and especially what you said about finding the positive. It's like there's no bad numbers, there's no bad seasons. There's nothing wrong as such. It's a bit like it's just about finding the right season. It's like if you want to go snow skiing in Australia, you're probably not going to find the snow if you go in February because it's summer and it's hot. It's just not like sometimes it snows in February in the mountains, rarely. It's just about finding the right season for what you want to manifest.
So we're going to take that because I know you're
really
a snow bunny and love the winter. And so let's say Dave comes to me and says in the 3 days, Jean, I really want to have 3 snows a year. Like, February, July, and I don't know, November or something. As soon as Dave, and it could be anyone, any of you, Dave says that, what happens is he's already put out, it's February, it's July and November. He's already placed it in the grid. He's got numbers in his head going, I really love, extreme heat, the beginning of February to about the 14th of February. Oh, I can't bear it. He's already put the numbers out there. And what happens and it's like spooky AI, I call it. People against artificial intelligence. I'm not. I think, we're already doing it on the woo-woo level. So all of a sudden, Dave's scrolling through his Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or, I don't know, Google or something, pop up of a holiday in February at the snow for like 75% pops up those days. And then people will go, oh, I don't know, it was so synchronistic. Oh my gosh, it's such a coincidence. No, it's not, because you knew that you're a winter person or a snow baby or a whatever, and it's right there. Like I was talking to a client and they said, oh, look, since going to your Egypt trip, it's opened our eyes to travel, and we were thinking about Uluru and out there. And I said, no problems. When would you like applying this? When would you like to go? I think now. So on my thing, I haven't Googled is Uluru or anything. My Facebook, it came up. I went share to the person. I went, there you go. Now we only talked about it that morning. Now she'd said it to me. It popped up on my Facebook. And there, like it gets, that's why that's mathematical code. Like I get so excited. It's mathematical codes. It's like ping, ping, ping. The dots just all, everything cannot not work out, because this is, the code is, it always works out. Always. Can't not, because it's there. Even if people go, it's too much to learn, I can't remember. Because you can remember, you've got it on the chart. The chart's right in front of you, like my charts are here. It tells you, get out more, retreat. It tells you what to do. And you don't have to do anything. It just it popped up on my Facebook. I didn't research it. I flicked it to her. Done. On the numbers.
Can I just say on that, Jean?
Yeah.
From the very first time I attended the grid and the calendar, I started manifesting in this way with ease. And the more times I did it, I just continued to manifest more with more ease. Like this wasn't like, oh, I need to go and study this and then like down the track maybe it'll work for me. It was like, no, I instantly got a return on this. And that has only increased. You could not pay me to set up my business a different way. We base it on the grid, we base it on the calendar. You could not pay me to set it up a different way because before it was really hard and it took a lot of energy, and now it's a pretty sizable thing that we're running here, and it's only getting bigger.
IBW is quite massive. It's transformative. when you do the book retreats, I call them retreats, the book intensives, it's going to change people's lives. I know when I wrote my first book in 2016, it totally changed my life from thinking, here's someone that can't speak English. English is the third language. I'm dyslexic, but I didn't tell people that. To a year 11 teacher saying, oh, you can't write blah, 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 to writing the book in like 30 hours or whatever it was, to like, here it is. Yeah, like it, and what did you mention there? You said something about numbers, and I can't remember. I was going to relate it to that. I forgot. Whatever. Can't remember. Oh, yeah, but yeah, your business is
all good.
Yeah, I just am blown away. Yeah.
I was saying I couldn't imagine running the business without these things in the background. It would make scheduling really difficult. It would increase the amount of effort required because we operate in a very 3D reality of matter against matter rather than using natural energy that is already there. It would just be harder and less fun. And so with the calendar, it is grace and ease and more fun. And so that's
and
we're
I've
always
watched you
going to use it and do it this
big
way.
Time every single year, and the expansion, because these are about expansion. That little mindset. If you're thinking it's not going to work, blah blah, that's great. For those that are thinking about coming. But bear in mind, it is an expansion of the mind and consciousness as well. And that if you don't want to be a success, and you don't want to manifest, and you don't want to have support, and you don't want, then don't come. But it is like you can't do anything but get bigger, because that's just part of the law of success and manifesting. Is the bigger that you become, the more money you earn, so they can service more people, which then services more people, and that's why it's an expansion. That's why it's a code. They're actually 4 and 5D, and it's the fifth dimensional work of dream it, think it, you will manifest it, like that. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Jean, the final point that's really coming in for me to share with everyone, and then maybe we can talk a little bit more about how people can join the calendar and the grid workshop coming up, is is the expansion of what's possible that happens when you're working with the calendar and the grid. I always find for myself that possibilities my mind gets blown every time. And I think one thing that you do really well is you challenge people to think bigger and broader about what's possible for them. You know, even little things like cleaning your own house. Like, I wonder if it would be possible to hire some help to help you clean your house. You know, and people go, oh, I can't afford it. I can't afford to pay someone else. Yeah. And it's like, I wonder what life would be like having your house cleaned by someone else, or like all these little things. Like, I think you do that so well. You have such a well-supported life that I observe, and well-supported business. It's something that I personally admire and I look up to. I think you do support really, really well. And I think I have even more to learn from possible on that support front, but really, it's possibility.
So that possibility is potential, possibility, and brilliance are the same thing. That we're encapsulated in this tiny limitation. That when we open ourselves, anything is possible. And when we have a pain, because these are about relieving pain. I know it sounds bizarre, but relieving pain. If I've got a pain that I can't get everything done, like I've mentioned to you, Dave, well, why don't you get a cleaner? What? Because for me, I'm a philanthropist. So if I employ someone as a cleaner, it gives them a job, which means that she employs somebody else, which means that, and it's a ripple effect. And that's what happened. It's this dynamic wheel of possibilities, not just for me, it's like this evolutionary process for everybody. And why think small? And when you come back for the top up each year, when you come back for the limitation, and especially coming back in winter, we're coming back into the chrysalis to go, what was the last 12 months like? Okay, where was I limited? Where do I want to be unlimited again? And that's evolution. The bears go and hibernate in winter. The spiders and lizards go and hibernate. They come back out and go, the little fuzzy bear.
The bear.
And then it's like, whoosh, off we go again. And breaking the limits of, I can't afford, like I grew up that way, and it's not real. It's like, well, if I get a cleaner, or what if I, and so I do, I have someone that does the pool, someone that does the garden, someone that mows, a cleaner, and people will say, oh, you're rich. And I say, no, I'm abundant. And I'm working with this to service me and service a whole community, so I can service a bigger community, which is what you do in the IBW. When people come to write their book for the week, when they write the book, it's like they're taking all of their information and putting it into a product. And then what you're helping them to do is to get it out of the quantum into here. Now go service the world. And you can do it every single month with the one product. So yeah, stop. And thinking small is how education system and the health system, having worked in them, think this is the magic of thinking big, expansive, because quantum is expensive. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So this weekend that's coming up, it can also be a reset for people. It can be a reboot of self-trust, a reboot of possibility, a reboot, dare I say it, back to yourself, to your true nature, to your true heart of what you really want. Just to speak astrology for a second, the North Node's just moved into Aries as of the 17th. So very much focus it, like our North Node, our destiny is to be more Aries, which is about self and meeting self needs. So for those of you that have been giving to others and like running yourself dry, or like saying to yourself, what about me? Like, where's the juice? Where's the goals? Where's the dreams? Where's the excitement for me? This could be the absolute, I'm not even could be. When you join, it will be the spark.
Definitely.
I personally guarantee it. I wouldn't have, 8 years in a row, and that's why I'm speaking so passionately about this. If people know me, they know that I'm convinced by demonstration. And I just want to very clearly, publicly say the calendar and the grid and Jean's work has very clearly, exceptionally clearly demonstrated to me over 8 years that it works. And like I said, in the lead up to this, I don't publicly shout out stuff like this every day of the week unless I'm a true believer and I've personally experienced it. So yeah, Jean, the 3 days that's coming up, can you just, so I think the build-up's already started. So there's the build-up's happening this week as well.
This weekend.
Yeah.
It'll be
And
Saturday,
then this
Sunday,
weekend.
and Monday. It's live online. So this has to be live online, and we've got it offline. So here in my office and online as well. And it's live online because I'm going to take you to the next level. You're going to learn the basics, and then we've got to take it to the next level and lift it. And in alignment, because of the numbers that we're doing 29, so which is number 3, get rid of the illusions, come into your heart space to have freedom. So even the alignment is there. Then we're doing it end of July, because end of July is about to come out of the chrysalis and start to plan energy. And the universe is going, what are you planning? What did you want? What? And on the 2nd of August, we have one of 2 full moons for August, which is intensely manifesting energy. So I've got goosebumps. So I do everything according so that you guys can absolutely go, nailed it, got it. Now, just bear in mind, we had one lady in Melbourne, I remember, forget, she said, Jen, I want to come to your retreat. I can't afford the retreat and whatever. And I said, just stick the labels on, which you learn in the course, stick the stickers on there and whatever. And she said, I don't know what to do. I said, stop overthinking and just put stickers of what you want wherever you want. So she put for the October my retreat, and within 24 hours she said, I got the $3,000 to come. And I said, oh, but that was in the June she was learning, because I was doing it in the June down in Melbourne. She got the money ready for October. It just landed in 24 hours. So possibilities.
Love stories like that, huh?
Yeah.
I use that all the time, like stuff that I don't have the money for. I'm like, yep, I'm in. Just give me 7 days or give me 3 days or like give me 24 hours. I make the commitment and then the money shows up out of nowhere. I know that sounds crazy, but this is how it's not crazy. It's just time and time and time and time and time again.
Yeah.
This method has been what has worked over and over
Dave,
and over again.
Thank you. I love that you've
I'm going to be there.
That means
I'm going to be there.
You've serviced so many people already from, podcasts and coaching and all your books. And I thank you for taking this on, and everyone that's taken this on to service more people, whether you're a teacher, a mum, a dad, or your books. And every single author and doing the retreats. And as you said, doing yours in October as they're like juicing over, planning, it's going to birth. And then when they go in October, which I would so be there if I wasn't running my own retreat, go pop with your system. Amazing.
Love it. So Jeannie, we'll put the link to the workshop. Once I've saved this video, we'll put that link in the description of the video. And if anyone has any questions or they want to know any more about how it works, a lot of those questions will be answered on the link that is going to be there. Jean, do you want, if people have additional questions, can they send you a message?
Absolutely, because if I can support one
private
person
message
to live their best life and have health as their wealth, oh my gosh, just message me.
Totally. And I'll also second that. If anyone wants to ask me any questions about my experience with Jean's calendar and grid, I'm more than happy to answer your questions. So please just send me a Facebook message too. But I'm going to be there Saturday, Sunday, Monday coming up this week. I just really encourage anyone who's if you've watched this live and any part of it has sparked if it's sparked a possibility, if it's put you back in your heart, if you're like, oh, that's cool what they're talking about, or like, I want that, or I want to live my life that way, or I want that for my business, jump on it. You
darling,
can't go wrong.
I thank everyone for allowing me to share it. It's very ancient, very sacred, but it must be taught. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Love it, Jean.
Yeah.
All right, take care.
Bye.
And I'll be seeing you in a couple of days. All right, bye for now.